Let's move on now to the different cases of inheritance between male and female shares. I am not by any means tonight going to go through the entire system of inheritance, because when you go to learn Sharia, you've got a whole semester, even a year of learning just about inheritance. It is one of the most complex, comprehensive and tough topics to learn. Not only do you need to know the Quranic instruction, you need to know maths, you need to know fractions, you need to know ratios, you need to know percentages, you need to know a lot of equations. It's not a simple system at all, the most complex system that I've ever seen in any society. But what I'll do is I want to say four things. Number one, inheritance comes in different cases and different distributions. Depending on the case, there could be a case where the female in the family, whoever she is, inherits only half the share of the male in the family. And there are about 4 cases of those. There are over 10 cases in inheritance, or 11, where the female will inherit more than the share of the male. I'm not talking about brothers and sisters, but males and females within the family. There are also 30 or more other cases where the female inherits exactly the same as the males in the family. And there are also other cases, more rarely though, where only the female inherits and no other male inherits. I'm not going to go through it all because it's tremendous, but I'll give you one example, one only, of each one. You want to hear one example of each one? Okay, one example. Because then I'll lose you. You guys are going to go into a mental breakdown with all the maths and they're trying to work things out. Example number one, when the woman gets half the share of the man, or the female gets half the share of the male in a given family setting of inheritance. Example number one, where she gets half, it is when, for example, the deceased is a parent, a mother or a father, and they leave behind sons and daughters, or one son or one daughter. That in this case, the son gets double the share of the daughter. If they have a mother, for example, alive, let's say the father died and the mother is still alive, and there is a son and daughter, then the mother first of all gets 1/6 of their father's share. Then between the boy and the girl, it's a ratio of 2 to 1, double the share of the girls. And we explained why before. Because of what? Why does the boy get more? Financial obligation Islamically that he has with that other part. Yeah, and for example, see that sister who got half his share? That share of hers is only hers. That double share which he took, guess what he's going to do with it? He has to spend it back into the family, the majority of it, including that sister of his who took half a share. If she ends up without an income, without a husband, with no other way, guess who has to look after her? That brother who inherited the other half. What about his mother? If she was in need, guess who has to look after her? The brother who inherited the other half. His grandmother, guess who has to look after her? The men, so him and his other cousins, right? And so on. That's the first example of why and who gets half the share, where the female gets half the share. Example number two, of when it is where the female gets more inheritance share than the male. This is an example where there is a father left, the mother died, and he has 2 daughters, only 2 daughters, no sons, just 2 daughters. Father, wife dies, 2 daughters. The father takes 1/4 of his deceased wife's share, of his deceased wife's property, and his 2 daughters take 2/3 each, plus whatever remains. So who takes more here? The daughters. The father took 1/4, and what's the bigger number, 1/4 or 1/3? Which one's bigger, 1/4 or 1/3? Huh? Which one? 1/4 or 1/3? 4 is a bigger number, huh? Which one? Hands up if you think 1/3 is greater than 1/4. Hands up if you think a quarter is greater than a third. Hands up if you think they're the same. Obviously a third is greater than a quarter. Okay? There are 3/3 and a quarter means 4 quarters. Okay? So a third is greater. Therefore, each girl gets a third. Each one of the daughters got more than the father. And there is still remainder. The remainder is a quarter. So guess who takes it? The girls. Therefore, the females took more than the male. There is another example. The father is left with one daughter, just one daughter. The father takes a quarter, the daughter takes half, plus the remaining quarter. Got it? Just know that the female got more than the male. Here is now the third example is when the female and the male get equal shares of the inheritance. And as I told you, that's about over 30 cases in which the female is equal with the male. And the half share is only in 4 cases. So here now we've got 30 cases. One example is where there is a father and a mother and one son. Father, mother, one son. The mum gets a 1/6, the dad gets a 1/6, and the boy gets the remainder. Example, you have a family of a mother, father, and 2 boys. One of those sons passed away. Now he's got a brother alive, his father and mother are alive. The mother gets a 1/6 of her son's property, the father gets a 1/6, same as his wife, and the son gets the rest. So the wife and the husband, same. Male and female, same. Another example of where it's the same is when you have a maternal brother and a maternal sister. So brother and sister, they share the same mother, but they have different fathers. They both take equal shares of inheritance. So these are just 2 examples of the 30 cases. Last example is where the female only takes inheritance. The boy gets nothing. In which case, this is a bit complicated, but I'll just say it anyway. Whoever gets it, gets it. Whoever doesn't, just know that there is in Islam a fair share where a female can only inherit. This is when the mother has passed away. The husband, the father, is still alive. So there is the mum passed away, she has a husband. There is a grandfather and a grandmother, and there is a daughter and a granddaughter of a deceased son. All right, let me repeat. I'll give you an easier example. Let's say there is a father, a mother, a daughter, and the son passed away, and that son has a daughter left over. Father, mother, daughter, granddaughter, but the granddaughter is from the son who has passed away. Are you with me? That daughter, the granddaughter, takes a 1/6 of the share. However, if that granddaughter was a grandson, the grandson gets nothing. Just know that only that female got the inheritance, but if it was a boy in her place, he would not get anything. Yallah, I lost you, but it's okay. I lost myself, I think. That's why we need scholars and imams to sit with them for inheritance. I think there are calculations online that you can use, inshallah, but please cross-check them with someone knowledgeable. That's all I wanted to say about inheritance, to show you the justice that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has and how important it is to leave a will and to calculate your inheritance and your property. I'll just say now some miscellaneous things surrounding. It's just a few miscellaneous things and I'll get your questions.